So, what you're pretty much looking at right now are mulberries. This is how they look when they start to actually grow. And this is how they look when they're half grown. And finally here you have ripe ones, which you can eat just like that. Cheers. Yeah, they're good. So why did you watch how a mulberry ripens? Because in my head, that's the best way how to think of our growth in life. So you start off with a little dot from the mulberry branch, which is pretty much when you're born. Then eventually, the dot grows a bit bigger, and eventually you almost get like these kind of like leaves that start to like sprout up. Probably that's when you become a kid and you enter in your teenage years. And then you get that little green fruit that you saw in the intro. And then eventually it becomes pink. And then it becomes very dark red, ready to be consumed. Now, I'm not saying that, when you become very old, you're ready to be consumed. But my point is to show how, for such a tasty berry, it needs so much time to grow. At least 6 months. And I think that that's kind of what I try to get around it. So, you have on YouTube all of these biohacking experts, or you have all of these spiritual teachers, and they give so many great insights, and just they make you reflect so many times that you can just get so absorbed into the content that I feel like I am like a captain on a ship, and I have so many islands to discover, and I'm like, okay, let's do this all in 1 month. But what you forget is that those who are sharing those insights, they have their own experience that gave them these powerful connections that they share with others. And the experience is time. And I kind of find myself, wanting to do a lot of things, but saying that, okay, well, I want it to be done in the fastest possible way. And it kind of is easy to get into this kind of thinking, because I think that everybody around us is also, very much in this be the most productive you can possibly be, which is not a bad thing. I think that we've become aware of how much we can learn while doing many things, but sometimes it just is a bit too much. Sometimes it's like, even when you're walking, you must be constantly engorged into information. I mean, sure, maybe walking is unproductive in your standards, but that's a bit of a stretch, isn't it? At least in my part. And I think that what I figured out was that you won't want the time to go that fast if you're doing something that you love. And it's like, if my whole purpose in life was to just take care of a freaking mulberry tree, to just, make sure that the soil is perfect, that, there are no of these bugs that are gonna attack it, or no mushrooms, that it's not too dry, that it has the perfect amount of water, rain, and air quality as well. If that was my whole purpose, I don't think I would mind the process. I would say, my God, the process is part of the reward. And I think what happens is that a lot of times why we get into these, productivity 2.0, where everything that we do must be productive, and we must always be learning and getting information, is because what we're doing in the moment is not that enjoyable. It's like a kid, okay? When you were a kid, imagine you had this game, and I know that when I played Monopoly, like, okay, I would play it with my friends and it would be fun. But if I started playing it, every hour with my friends, eventually would say, God, this is boring. Can we get something else? And that's kind of the issue that, I can't run away from, is that, we need time to kind of be present, meaning to just not be constantly stimulated. So it's like, imagine that imagine that you had like the sun, okay, and the sun was just constantly shining 24/7. It would feel amazing, but probably, I don't know, after 3 years you would say, okay, can I have something else than just the sun? Funnily enough. But I bet that we would eventually get there. And that's why, we have clouds, and that's why you have wind, and it's all different, it's never the exact same thing. And so with the sun analogy, just think of the issue of like, not wanting that time, just constantly wanting to be learning. And it's great, it's motivation. It helped me a lot to do things that probably would have taken me more time. But it's just that, eventually you kind of get to that point where you say, okay, I've had enough of the sun, which by the way has amazing benefits. Can I just have the stars maybe? Which are also technically suns in the space, but just can I have something different? And my point is that, with this whole rushing our growth, there comes a point where you just have to be fine with being who you are, in the state that you are, which is not the level that you wish to achieve. For example, for me it would be being an amazing communicator. I don't know if I'll get there, but great motivation, great goal, but understand that right now I'm just maybe okay at level 0, and that which I want is like level 50. And when you look at that and you say, yeah, I can't get up 50 levels, in one day, 1 month, that's impossible. So you should just allow yourself to give more time, and it'll be easier for you to give yourself that space, to give that, let's say, silence, or just no stimulation, if you are capable of sitting with your own feelings. Because when we're in a situation where we are doing something that we don't like, that we have a lot of just like anxiety, criticism, to be honest, no real motivation, and we're very pessimistic in our worldview, at least that's how I was, then I didn't really want to sit with those emotions because it was very painful. So I think that to get to this point where you can actually become comfortable, at least for me it worked, is to just do what I'm interested in. That meant, exploring energies. For you, it's probably something else. And it doesn't have to be a big step. I know that I started exploring energies while I was in university, studying something that, technically didn't have to do with energies, with psychology. So if you're also still in a very stressed situation and you say, well, I can't just throw it all out and, go and do what I love. I get it. Just take small steps. Maybe lunch break, read something that you're interested in, or start meditation practice. Because that's the best way how to also help yourself maybe a bit hack this sitting with your emotions thing. So if you do choose to meditate, maybe after you meditate, I would advise you to do this simple exercise that I find myself doing time to time, which is find a quiet, disturbed space. Take like 15 minutes out of your day and ask yourself, okay, if I had abundance, if money and time were unlimited, what would I be doing right now? And for me, the question is, not the question, but the answer is, I'd continue trying my best to help you understand what I'm saying, which, as I said, I'm from level 0. And for you, it'll be something else. So that's for you to decide. And then just start directing yourself towards that, And if you're interested in having a bigger picture, if you want an actual, let's say, step-by-step plan, maybe you want to reach out to me, because that's how I try and show you what these energies that we can't see, or at least we can't see with our own eyes, are trying to tell me and you. All of us, the human species. And so I kind of course, personalize it to you. And yeah. So this was my video. Any feedback is appreciated, because I need to get better at learning from others, but I know it'll take time. Well, I half know. Half of me still wants to do it faster, but we can't be perfect. Okay, I'll stop blabbering here. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.